Call the meeting to order. Have a roll call, please.
Simpson.
Yes.
Soltow.
Here.
Kudia.
Here.
Nelson. Kennedy, yes. Michaels. Here. Gorski.
Here.
Trojan.
Yes, here.
We have enough for a quorum.
Do we have any board member by attendance other than physical? I don't think so.
No.
I think so.
Any communications and petitions? Public comment?
There are no communications or petitions.
Are there any visitors to be recognized?
No visitors to be recognized.
General presentations, any?
No general presentations.
Wow. Here we go, fast track. Okay, we have a motion to approve the October 8th Committee of the Whole meeting, the October 15th special meeting, and October 22nd regular board meeting.
I make a motion to approve all three of those meeting minutes as one vote.
Second.
Gorski, motion. Kadia, second.
Simpson.
Yes.
Soltow.
Yes.
Kudia.
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Michaels.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Okay, action items, could we have a motion to approve the claim sheet, check register BR 8211, October 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Gorski and Kadia, motion and second.
Simpson.
Yes.
Soltow.
Yes.
Kudia.
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Michaels.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Next item, motion to approve purchase report A, amendments, 2025 amendments, number BR 8212-A.
So moved, and I'd like to speak to it.
Second.
Motion
Gorski, second Nickel.
Because I couldn't very well second my own motion, so there you go. Just any changes to the,
No changes to purchase report A.
thank you.
No other comments? Roll call, please.
Simpson.
Yes.
Soltow.
Yes.
Kudia.
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Michaels.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Next item, a motion to approve purchase report B, 2025 purchases, number BR 8212-B.
So moved, and I'd like to speak to it.
Second.
Motion Gorski, second Kristen, Soltow.
Simpson.
Yes.
Soltow.
Yes.
I just had a quick question.
Oh, sorry about that.
Any changes since the cow?
Yes, there have been 2 changes to the cow. There have been 2 additions. The first one was for Nicor Gas for $170,000, not to exceed. This expense is to reroute the gas main located at the downtown campus site. The gas main right now is running straight through the future foundation of the downtown learning center and needs to be moved. This estimate includes all labor, materials, and applicable taxes. So we received this proposed scope of work from Nicor on Monday, November 11th. Are there any questions on that item?
We consider these utilities expenses for moving and or relocating as part of the project. They were expected.
Correct. So
Okay.
the second item is AT&T. I should have spoke to that one first.
Okay.
That's another utility relocation not to exceed $203,692.43. And this is to reroute the AT&T telephone poles and cables, also located at the downtown campus site. The AT&T utilities run through the alleyways that the college is going to ask to be abated. So we need to have those relocated. Now I can speak to current cost total for utility relocations is running about $664,000. The budget is $725,000 for utility relocations, and we do not expect any more utility moves, but we never know as we dig through the
So you're under budget
project.
by some 50, 60,000?
Correct, we're under budget right
Yeah,
now.
we have a little money in case things change, okay, or a
Correct.
change order comes in or something. So.
Correct.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Very good. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Simpson.
Yes.
Soltow.
Yes.
Kudia.
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Michaels.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Next item is to accept the fiscal year 2024 Audit Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, number BR 8213.
So moved, and I'd like to speak to it.
Second.
Gorski and Nichol.
Obviously, there hasn't been any changes on this since it was just presented at the COW. We talked about it at length. All right. Thank you.
We got our bound copies last time, I believe. Bound copies, so. Any other comments? Other than it being a fine report and a outstanding recognition by the state, so I think that's commendable to the entire financial and the rest of the staff to get this far, get this award.
And that report,
Congratulations.
and that report's available to anybody in the public if they want to request
Oh, yes.
it, correct?
It's online.
Yep.
Actually, it'll be posted on the website after tonight, and once you've
There you go.
approved it.
Thank you.
It's available to the public. Any other comments?
No, good job.
Roll call, please.
Simpson.
Yes.
Soltow.
Yes.
Padilla.
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Michaels.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Next item, a motion to approve the personnel report, number BR 8214.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Gorski and Kudia? Any comments? None?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Simpson.
Yes.
Soltow.
Yes.
Padilla.
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Michaels.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Just a comment in case there may be some new people in the audience. The reason we're going through so quickly is we already talked all about this at our COW meeting 2 weeks ago, so this is not new. This is all stuff we've already discussed and hashed out. That's why it's moving so quickly on decision-making. The next one is approve, a motion to approve leave of absence, number BR 8215.
So moved.
Second.
Gorski and Kudia. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Simpson.
Yes.
Soltow.
Yes.
Kudia.
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Michaels.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Okay, any new business?
Yes. Thank you, Chair Trojan. I wanted to remind just reiterate to the trustees that we sent out an annual legislative luncheon for trustees to attend with a couple of administrators, and that is Wednesday, December 11th, 11 to 2 p.m. Most of you have responded, still waiting, but if you know for sure you're not going to attend, just let me know, and we'll be greatly, when I say we, that's the one and only Ann Kerwitz and I would be greatly appreciative to have that down. So thank you for letting us know when you can. Second, I just want to let you know that Vice President Jinks, Rick Jinks, and Robin Swartz representative, are attending the City of Rockford Zoning Board of Appeals meeting this evening. This is part of the process for receiving special use permit for a planned unit development for the downtown west campus. So at this point, steps, the City of Rockford administration has already approved our downtown west project. Tonight, the Rick and, like I said, Robin Schwartz representative will be at the zoning board meeting to do just a brief summary or synopsis of the project itself, but then the zoning board has to approve it. November 25th, the Codes and Regulations Committee will then approve the project, and then once that's done, on December 2nd, the City Council has to approve the project. And since we have our committee of the whole meeting on December 3rd, we should have a full updated report for you on Tuesday, December 3rd regarding this process. All right? And
With all those meetings and people, is there any risk of any kind of thing happening?
well, there's always a risk when you got that many steps, but at this point in time, I don't see any major issues happening. Everything has been upfront. City of Rockford has been truly have been really good partners throughout this project. So I don't, see any issues happening. But again, you got multiple steps. You never know who could ask a question or decide not to approve anything.
That would
I
be a
have a
big
quick,
blow.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it would be. I don't expect that to happen, though.
I have a quick question. I was at a meeting Monday, and I was asked if there were going to be any more public meetings.
So we are planning to have one more community engagement session technically two, but we're planning to work with the Westgate Coalition again, and sometime in January, once they confirm it, the time, and then it will be at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. But we haven't figured out the time, but sometime in January, 11 o'clock on a Wednesday will be that next time that we have our community engagement session. And then the last one is really the groundbreaking ceremony itself, and we don't have a set date for that yet. You'll know about that before that date before the community knows about it.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
It's not snowing at that time.
I agree with you. We have a little flexibility on if we want to go out in the snow or not, so.
Paul's got a question.
So, yeah, an official gave me a heads up to the ZBA meeting and did some research on it. I didn't see any, doesn't look like there's much discussion on it other than they just want to move it ahead. So
Thank you for that confirmation.
it doesn't mean that something may not come up, but as far as I know, the little research I did, I didn't see anybody challenging it. Everybody seems, neutral or excited about it. So. Which is what we're hoping.
Absolutely. Chairman Trojan, I believe that ends my new business, and at this point in time, I don't have any unfinished business.
Unfinished business. Okay, move on to the president's update then.
All right. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to present this evening. Wanted the trustees to know that I serve on the National Commission for American Association of Community Colleges, which also is known as AACC, where presidents and executive leaders discuss various structured pathways that could be highlighted on the national level. Structured pathways could be like a 2+2 agreement or a non-credit to credit pathway. So some of the non-credit programs that we do and how they align to the credit side so that students, as you know, our students on-ramp and off-ramp at any given time, and many of them are part-time. So what can we do regarding community college space around those different structured pathways? For me, I serve on the commission that informs the AACC board of areas of focus, and I appreciated being able to speak with them about our non-credit CMC and 2+2 at NIU program. Those are both considered pathway programs. Receives positive feedback from that, and some of the other community college presidents were interested in learning more about those pathways. I also attended the Illinois Council of Community College Presidents, which is a statewide council through ICCB, similar to what you do for the ICTA meetings. We have a president's meeting. And just for the record, we also have a CFO meeting and a student services affairs meeting, and we also have AA meeting as well. So there's different meetings for your specialty group so that you can talk through some of the emerging themes and things that are happening throughout the state and sometime throughout throughout the nation with federal regulations. The following are just a few of the agreed upon statewide topics or focal points from the council. One is President's strong desire to improve the effectiveness and accessibility of the Business Enterprise Program. We call it a BEP within the Illinois Community College system. Participants identified several challenges with the current system and proposed numerous solutions aimed at increasing BEP vendor participation and streamlining the process for both vendors and institutions. This has been an interesting topic statewide, and so the CFOs got together and thought through the process. We also had a conference, a statewide conference on it, BEP conference, to discuss it, and so the presidents wanted to make sure that we stay on top of this process. Second is the applied science baccalaureate degrees. This is not intended to compete with public colleges or universities. There are other states that have already implemented this, and community college presidents want to explore this option for Illinois. I will admit that I am one of those presidents that I think this is a good opportunity for us to explore what this looks like. There's other states that have gone down this path. Make sure that they're not adding a degree that's focused on what the other universities have. But there are certain spaces that our students are simply not going to relocate to that public institution to do some of that, and therefore they won't be able to do it online because it's a hands-on learning experience. So we believe that we can cover some of that. And I think this is one of the ways that you want to talk about growth at a community college and sustainability and how do we deal with the enrollment cliff and things of that nature. This is one of the proactive ways as presidents that we're looking into this.
Wouldn't the NIU model be something to build on?
Yes, for those specific ones.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. That's definitely an option. But think about some of the areas that they don't have that we may still need in our area.
Yeah,
So,
right.
We're going to look at maybe 3 different programs, potential programs, to see if this can work. And then it goes through ICCB, and that's Dr. Brian Durham is executive director, and then he informs his board of this information. So I wanted to make sure you are aware of that, just in case you hear more about it. My assumption is that we'll hear more, if nothing else, after January and the governor's address and things of that. Maybe you'll hear more about it through ICTA News and things of that nature. All right, and as we learn more, I'll be sure to share with you. Third topic that we are discussing as presidents would be the common course numbering for Illinois community colleges. It is a burdensome task, and this will be very difficult across community colleges to try to come up with common course numbering, but there are several systems that have this in place. And by having common course numbering would be having your courses all have the same number across all community colleges. So if a student was taking English 101 and then transferred to another community college because they relocated, and on that transcript, it still says English 101. You know that it's the same course. You don't have to go back through all the curriculum and evaluate it yourself. But imagine if we had this across the system, and then they transfer to the 4-year institutions in the state of Illinois. It'll be cleaner for the evaluation process or the transcript process for all students. This is more of a first step of trying to get us down that path, but you will most likely hear more about this in the upcoming months or throughout this next calendar year with the presidents. All right, and last, I serve on the Adequacy and Equity Task Force through ICCB with Trustee Kadia and Interim Dean of Students, Dr. Levinas Mohammed. The focus is on advancing adequacy-based funding for community colleges in Illinois. The task force consists of trustees, presidents, and executive leadership members. The results from the task force will inform Dr. Durham, Executive Director of ICCB, and the ICC Board on whether or not there are better ways to fund community colleges statewide. The consulting group leading the conversation is the Partnership for College Completion. We're not necessarily saying get rid of our funding measures or how we're funded. We're trying to just explore to say, is there a better way to do this? Everybody says that we're paid a third, but if you talk to our CFO and many of the CFOs across the state, we're really not, we're not being funded equally across the board with a third, and a third. All right. So what does that look like and what's realistic for our funding. So we're having those conversations with trustees and with presidents and CFOs and others regarding this process, and they'll hope to have this process done by February, I believe, right?
That's
January,
the goal.
February, right, goal? And then after that, they'll inform the board, the ICCB board, and they'll decide how they want to move forward with the process. All right, questions regarding that?
Yeah. So all the different meetings and presidents' meetings and so on and so forth, has there been any discussion or speculating regarding potential budget impact with the state of Illinois $3 billion, 1 year, $22 billion, 5-year deficit?
Why do you always have to ask the tough questions? So, yes.
What's their feeling? What are they sensing?
Right now, they're saying they're hoping a positive will be flat across the board. That's the positive. They're not expecting an increase. They're expecting flat. But if not flat, they're talking about a 2% decline, 2% decrease, I believe. Did you hear anything else differently? Because okay, good. I just learned that this week, this Friday, on that they're hoping, best case scenario, flat. But they think that it may be a 2% decrease in the budget.
So following up then, is our finance department doing any kind of looking ahead, assuming there might be a 2%? What impact, if any, on our operations? Pardon me?
We will be doing that soon.
You'll be doing it soon?
Yes, because we'll do that as a part of the State of the College information, and you'll
Yeah,
get
well,
that
I
in
think it'd be
January.
important to do and get ahead of it, just in case.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, we'll do it sooner than
That's
that.
what I
We'll
mean.
process it, but by the time you get it, it'll probably be the State of the College so that we know where we're at with it.
Right. Okay, John?
Well, in our session for the trustees, a small door was left open that should the governor, apparently the budget shortfall is $3 billion this year, but projected $11 billion next year. And you have a big ask by the transit, you have a big ask by the city of Chicago, and you know, if you project politics into it, you know, there's a lot of votes in the Chicago area for stuff. So I don't think we'll go back to nothing, but it could be more than 2%. I think that's, I don't think that will happen, Bob, but it's more realistic than just a small chance.
Well, it would be very important for our finance department to do some looking ahead and what-ifing, you know, just in case. You know, what if it's 2%? What happens if anything? What if it's 5%? What do we do if anything? Just to get our kind of thought process, so we're
Yes.
not hit with a surprise.
And we have some strategies that we even talked about as early as today in our cabinet meeting about some things we could do to offset that.
Yeah.
Some strategies for enrollment and things like that you'll hear about
Okay.
in upcoming month. So thank you. With that pretty much concludes. We do have several activities that's been happening on campus, but I will defer to the leadership team to provide those updates for you.
Okay. You got your cabinet report?
Yes, we'll start with, did I mention that we're now talking to Dr. Keith Barnes and Dr. Terica Huntley? Did I mention that before? Thank you. Both of them received their doctoral, they finished their dissertation, defended, and they, a couple of weeks ago. And so I just want to congratulate both Dr. Keith Barnes and Dr. Terica Huntley for completing. Finished at NIU. So well done. We'll work on those name tags at a later date, all right? With that, Dr. Barnes.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Spearman. Greetings, trustees. Native American Heritage Month is observed in November to call attention to the culture, traditions, and achievements of the nation's original inhabitants and of their descendants. Rock Valley College commemorates the contribution of indigenous people through sustainable practices, courses, and programs that promote an understanding of indigenous cultures. Second, I want to recognize all the RVC administrators who attended the Illinois Community College Council of Community College Administrators 2024 conference last week in East Peoria, Illinois. The conference theme was entitled Empowered Transformation, Education for the Future. And I had the honor of giving a presentation during the conference titled Empowering Future Community College Leaders Through Mentoring Relationships. So I just want to recognize my colleagues for attending the conference. And finally, the National Association of Diversity Officers in Higher Education annual conference is in Chicago in March of 2025. And I'm happy to announce that NADHE accepted my proposal for a presentation titled, It Takes a Village, Understanding the Evolution of Mentoring Experiences for Community College Chief Diversity Officers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Good evening. A few brief updates for you. The annual Trio Friendsgiving Dinner and Eagles Nest Food Pantry food drive was held last Friday, November 15th. Welcomed over 50 guests and collected several items for the food pantry, as well as over $300 in donations to support the pantry. Thank you to Dr. Elaine Dussard and her team for leading those efforts. This coming Friday, November 22nd, please join us if you are able for the annual International Showcase event. This annual event highlights and celebrates our international students in a trip around the world featuring a variety of food, entertainment, and education about our students' home countries and their cultures. The event takes place at 6 p.m. in the Stenstrom Center Student Center atrium. Dr. Spearman has tickets for the board members if they're able and interested to attend. Just certainly tap them on the shoulder.
I have the tickets tonight, so if you want them, if you're interested, I'll give them to you tonight.
Very good.
What is it?
Friday.
This coming Friday, 6 p.m. Finally, this evening, athletic fall programs have wrapped up their seasons, and I'm pleased to report that the women's soccer ended their season, sadly, unfortunately, with a record of 17-3, losing this afternoon and finishing their run at the national tournament. Their coach, Kevin Watkins, was highlighted as the Region 4 Coach of the Year last weekend, finishing and winning that tournament. They are second year in a row, back-to-back 10-win seasons, and second year in a row to the NJCAA Division II National Tournament appearance. They won that regional tournament on November 10th last weekend. Wow. Men's soccer finished the season with a combined record of 9-2-7. A lot of ties this year, more than they would like. Just missed out on qualifying for their second straight national tournament, falling to Morton College in overtime on penalty kicks, 5-4 on November 3rd. So that was a sad ending for their season, but a great season. And lastly, women's volleyball also had a great season, finishing the year with a total record of 29-13, falling one game short. Very close, 15-13 final match of 5 sets to Moraine Valley in the Region 4 Championship game also last weekend. But overall, congratulations to all of our student athletes and coaches for a wonderful season of fall athletics. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, trustees.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Good evening.
We would like to acknowledge our human resources business partners who've worked diligently to create supplemental support resources for our supervisors. These resources will be presented at our upcoming Supervisor 201 training. Additionally, the open enrollment period for benefits eligible employees at the college is available until November 24th. This provides a variety of health and supplemental benefits to our employees and dependents. And finally, our Employee Recognition Committee is planning a winter employee celebration on December 11th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in our Stenstrom Student Center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, trustees. First, the enrollment update. For spring, both headcount and credit hours are 3% behind this time last year. We are 77% to budget and 73% to the stretch goal. Credit hour enrollment for Winterim is 13% ahead of last year, and we have exceeded both the budget and stretch goals for the Winterim term. Second, I'd like to give some kudos to my institutional research staff. On October 28th and 29th, the IR team attended the 2024 Illinois Association of Institutional Research Forum, where they represented RVC as leaders in the state. I have the pleasure of serving on the steering committee for the Association for Institutional Research, and this year I was the forum chair, so I had the pleasure of planning and hosting the forum. Of course, I could not do that without the help of my executive assistant, Sonny Glessman, who played a huge role in planning, designing the program, and taking pictures throughout the two-day event. Also, 2 members of my team presented at the event. Rich Gokin, Director of Institutional Research, demonstrated the process he uses to build interactive dashboards using Excel as a budget-friendly tool. And William Seow, Research Analyst, presented on the RVC Data Governance project that he is co-leading with IT. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Earlier today, the Early Childhood Education Program, along with Student Life, was able to collaborate with Alignment Rockford and RPS 205 to hold a lunch and learn for our students, where we were able to share with our students a great initiative that Alignment Rockford has started by creating reading and learning spaces throughout our community in places such as beauty parlors or Northwest Community Center, various locations that prior to this did not have access. So students are welcome and encouraged to support our community by volunteering to read to children in our community. This way we're showing that we really are our community's college. I also wanted to highlight Professor Paulette Gilbert's achievements. Within the past week, she was awarded 2, not 1, but 2 community awards. The Greater Rockford Chamber of Commerce's Community Hero Award was presented at their Power Women in Business Luncheon last week. And then both she and her husband, Skip, were awarded the Community Service Award at the NAACP's 79th Annual Freedom Fund Banquet. We're so proud to be able to work with such passionate people for our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
And I believe that ends our leadership updates.
That's it? Okay, now we'll have a ICTA report from John Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was detained by the federal district court judge till 5 o'clock. We always start out with a trustee discussion. We pick among suggested discussion topics by vote, and each trustee has 3 votes. We try to do 3 separate points of discussion. The first one was many businesses are rethinking their DEI policies. Is your college changing your policies in regard to DEI? What is the state of DEI on your campus, and how is the board able, or how the board is able to support DEI, and especially in light of the end of affirmative action? Well, I'm happy and proud to say that there was not one college present that suggested that they were backing off DEI. We had a spirited discussion on the issue. There is some thought of, with a change in administration, to changing the name of our efforts from DEI, which has been kind of attacked and has a negative connotation, some of the speakers said, to DIG, which would be data-informed governance. And there was some discussion about how that would disenfranchise the disenfranchised students who somewhat remain disenfranchised. The second topic we tackled was number 12, which reads, how does your college define student success, and what role does the board play in supporting it? Backing up, apparently 2 colleges in Florida removed themselves from the American Community College Trustees Association organization and their funding was threatened on the DEI issue. In terms of number 12, we talked about how different guideposts, enrollment, re-enrollment, moving on to a four-year college, contributions to the foundation, the progression to a degree, supplying local industry with workers and success in doing that, a technical emphasis. Dashboards were used at some colleges, and it was pointed out that you needed to measure both academic and non-academic effect on the students. We had 5 apparently student trustees in attendance, which the group really appreciated and sought their our input, including a student who gave a speech at the final meeting on Saturday. They talked about a 5-year comparison with national benchmarks. There is a book sent out from, I believe, Kishwaukee College about advisory communities, analysis of student grade distribution. All of this kind of things were talked about, and the colleges made clear that this success was part of the evaluation of the college president and had an effect on the review and, of course, the pay decision. There was one of the students' trustees went on a fairly lengthy description of what she felt was critical to the success of our students, and that was to make sure that we have a mental health initiative, because she felt that that was the #1 problem that the students had. And they talked about the underfunding of mental health services. Another college mentioned that they had focus groups for a strategic plan and preparation with the help of a consultant. They challenged the foundation to identify what students need. And one of the things that was important was an emergency fund for life's unexpected bills. For example, repairing of maybe an older vehicle if it breaks down. They talked about a dissertation done by one of the trustees describing how high school students without a direction are going nowhere. So it's important to find, locate those students and get them involved. The statistics are that more than 50% fall into this category, and of the 50% that don't, by far a majority went to a community college. And follow-up was recommended. Wabanzi Community College has a booklet they also use. I wasn't able to get a copy of each, but I'll look for those. As I said, every college trustee was there, contributed, and it was a very lengthy and I think successful discussion. And our lunch speaker followed up on that, and that person suggested that we want to understand that our students fear failures, and we want to find out why, and underscored the fact that trustees need to listen to students. That's one of the reasons we are here. Student success comes in with a goal. In other words, each student who comes in wants to accomplish something, and we ought to support that. And but first, we need to find out what it is. It was suggested that we start reaching out to middle schools, not start with high schools. The College of DuPage, and they have a lot of money, have a case management approach as opposed to a general approach. They have an academic success committee and a campus-wide mentoring program. Some trustees felt that student trustees should be more a part of board policy. And the foundation, again, should identify needs and respond. Their strategic student success initiatives mentioned were mental health, daycare, and transportation. And a student needs 4 categories of help: basic, emotional, which meant monitoring, mental, financial, a career closet for interview clothes, help with resumes, a student academic success support tutor center, a system to monitor grades, email, and call. And that was very interesting and a good lunch speech. After lunch, we had a presentation from a firm well known to Rock Valley College, Robin Schwartz and Catherine R. Localo, who is, in my opinion, expert on OMA, gave a long seminar. And once again, and I asked the question just to make sure, that when we go into closed session, it's okay to put on the agenda a number of different reasons that you can go into closed agenda, but it is required that we limit our motion to what we're going to talk about in closed session. So if it's litigation, we use the litigation exception. We don't do a general motion. And I thought, and I specifically wanted to mention that. I learned, of course, a lot more. After that, we went into committees. I serve on the financial committee. The ICCTA is in good financial shape. I serve on the DEI committee, and the DEI committee, as you might expect, is not about to abandon DEI initiatives. And we got into a spirited discussion. That's where we got into a spirited discussion of, you know, should we change our name and try to avoid drawing any attention to a local community college, or stand firm. And there were some strong opinions on both sides. The next committee meeting I went to was governmental affairs, which is really the gorilla of our committees, and that's where we discuss what the outlook is in Springfield and nationally for community colleges. And the outlook for, at least in the short term for Illinois, was not much is expected out of the veto session. And what did our lobbyist said? She had heard someone describe it as the deadest duck of a lame duck session. But who knows? There are some new representatives and state senators, but the overall composition of the legislature, Republican to Democrat, is unchanged.
Federally, everybody is going to take a breath and see what develops, and based on at least my reading of the news, that's probably a good idea. But there wasn't a lot of specifics. The ICCTA is looking forward to our trip to Washington, D.C., as we all are. So, and that's coming up rather quickly. So that is the long and short of my down and dirty quick report.
Thank you very much for a very detailed report, John.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for John? If not, we'll move on to trustee comments, and we'll start to my left with trustee Gorski.
Well, I thought I emailed my 25-page report, so I'll just read it verbatim here. John, just send it in next time, okay? Thanks. Two items, disclosure items. One is Trustee Nelson at 5:23 texted me to let me know that he was running late because he was coming out of court. I'm kind of a stickler for not communicating by text during meetings, but he sent me a text saying that he was coming but running late. Also, as Chair Trojan mentioned to anybody out there in the audience, or if this is still being streamed, sometimes we go through this regular meeting agenda fairly quickly if there haven't been any changes since the committee of the whole. So I really recommend, if you really want to know, the sausage that is the board doings, come to or view the committee of the whole meetings. That's where we do most of our long gabbing. And a question now, follow up to, I believe, the president's update on the standardization of course codes. Was that a statewide or a national?
Statewide.
Statewide? Okay.
Yes, statewide. Some community college systems already have this course numbering system in place.
So you have a model for it?
We have different models that we can look at, yes. Okay. I'm not for sure which model that we want to go with yet. I'm not on that planning committee for that. But
right, I was just wondering, because I'm familiar with, like, at the American Dental Association, their codes didn't necessarily fall into the Medicaid codes, because Medicare and Medicaid don't necessarily cover dental, so they created their own code schedules years ago to kind of mesh up with those. And then you got those medical codes, all those procedure codes are all kind of standard. And it makes it easier for people in different institutions. They just have a book and stuff. It just, how would that be? Would somebody potentially have the same course being offered, but maybe not necessarily the same content or the same, how do you work around that?
So right now we have what we call,
I know you're just getting started.
Yeah, so. Right, but there are already transfer opportunities between institutions and 4 years where you have the certain competencies or curriculum that you have to meet that, but each institution can deliver that to the students differently. And sometimes when it comes to transferring the information out, if the institution, let's say this is a first-time class, you need to provide all that information to the 4-year institution so they can approve it, make sure it's aligned with their curriculum the way they would see it, and then they approve it. So when you have a relationship with them already, NIU already knows what they should expect from English 101 because of our AIA numbers. But when you go across district lines from community college to community college, I may say it's English 101. Somebody else may say it's English 112 or chemistry 120, could be chemistry 100. And all of that is still transferring to the 4-year. So it's very confusing for the student. Remember, our students are part-time so many times. They'll stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. And sometimes they can get the short end of the stick because they're missing one competency, and next thing you know, they don't get the 3-credit or 4-credit class. So if we do course numbering across the system, then it's less likely that the 4 years will be able to say that this doesn't satisfy or this doesn't count, because we're all on the same page.
Makes sense.
And that's the hope.
Okay, if folks, if you don't know, I went to 2 or 3 different community colleges in northern Illinois, and now I have friends and/or family involved at Danville, and then at Sauk. So I'm just, my interest in this position and in the college came because of my kind of going back into my late teens involvement in community colleges. So it's just kind of interesting because having gone to 3 and seeing their course catalogs, none of them were alike. Nothing. City of Chicago and the suburb ones were nothing like each other. So within the city of Chicago, they were good, but outside of that, they were no good.
And if there's a lot of first-generation students, and so we all struggle with that. I would struggle looking at those course catalogs back and forth and making sure it counts. So this is something that probably needs to happen, but it'll be a multi-year process.
Yeah, that's a long project.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ends my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Nicole, anything?
Oh, it's glorious.
Gloria?
Yeah, he's got his, yeah. I
That's
just
right, you
have-
got a separate, sorry.
Right, I just have a couple of quick things I want to mention. I wish I could go to every one of these events, and the December 11th was just mentioned. I have a question, is that on the calendar? The one that we get?
Those are only on-campus dates, so it's not on the calendar.
So December 11th is not, okay. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out which.
Are you talking about the HR, the employee one?
The legislative one.
Which one are you referring to, legislative or HR?
Legislative.
I don't know, it was mentioned, I'm trying to remember, one of you all mentioned a December 11th.
I did. I mentioned
At the Hoffman House?
No, sir. It is going to be here in the Student Center, in the
I
atrium.
thought there was something.
So we mentioned 2 December 11th dates.
Okay.
The annual legislative luncheon.
Right.
That's the Hoffman House. That's the 11 to 2. Dr. Huntley was mentioning the employee, what do we call it?
Appreciation celebration from 2 to 4.
That's from 2 to
4.
4. And
Okay.
because that one will be on campus, that will show in the calendar.
You expect
Okay.
people to run here on a full stomach? They might be a little late,
All right, and that's the one question I had about that date, thank you. And again, the reason I mentioned that is because I was able to attend a few events recently. The foundation luncheon was amazing, and I'm glad I brought my daughter because we're here as trustees, but our families are involved as well. I just wanted her to see what we're doing and why I go to so many meetings, and she was just blown away. So I guess that's her compliment to you all that put that together. It was amazing. And then the Veterans Luncheon, I was glad I was able to go to that. I was happy to see student trustee Ryan Russell, that he's still involved, and he works here, doesn't he? Yep. But I was glad to see him there. And then I still can't always remember the acronyms, but the Construction Careers Training Program, CC.
Highway Construction Careers Training Program.
Yeah, I was missing the H. Okay. I guess I just wanted to add to that, after attending that, it was just, again, as usual, these are so inspirational. And it just makes me appreciate the reason why we're here. To Mr. Nelson's point is, what are the success factors? Where are the reports? When you hear these young people speak how they are affected by the training and their instructors, their fellow students, it just makes me realize what a great thing we're doing here. So I guess I just want to commend you all for that. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it.
Richard?
Nothing today.
Kristen?
I also attended the luncheon. That was the foundation luncheon, and I agree. I wasn't able to talk to most of you because I had to leave right away, but it was a really nice luncheon, and it was great to hear the stories from the presenters, and that's all I have.
Crystal?
Oh, just a couple things. First, I wanted to say that Mayor Mike's funeral is this Thursday, and I know most of you probably got the email on him. Mike meant a very big deal to my life, and I owe him. He was a big mentor to me. If it wasn't for Mike, I don't think that I would be sitting on this board today, and 3 years later. And he played a very pivotal role in my life when it came to anything that I have done in my adult life that actually meant something. And he believed in me more than I believed in myself at times. So this Thursday, I will say my final goodbye to him. Last week was very, very hard for me. So if I was quiet and didn't respond to emails or a phone call, I really didn't for anybody, because it really did hit me so hard. But this Thursday they will be laying him to rest. They will have a celebration of life afterwards. So I will continue to do good things for us, for Rock Valley, the community that I live in, continue to make what he wanted to do, his promises, live on as long as I can. He, like I said, he was a big supporter of Rock Valley, and he loved everything that we did that focused on making it a better community. So he will truly be missed. The other thing is we are headed to South for Thanksgiving. And so I hope that you all have a great, wonderful holiday with your families and loved ones and be safe. I will be fighting at the airport Tuesday, so wish me luck. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday with your family.
Thank you.
Thank you. John, anything more?
A couple of things, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. First of all, I don't know anyone else seated here that has run for the state senate except my seatmate here. And I want to congratulate her for doing that. I met the same fate she did. And, you know, as you run for a higher and higher office, the stakes are more serious, the competition is more fierce, and the politics, as the late great mayor of Chicago, and not Richard J. Daley, said, politics ain't beanbag. And in my situation, they tried to throw me off the ballot, both my Democratic opponent, who is now a sitting judge in the county, and a good friend of mine, and the Republicans through precinct committeemen, but that was really engineered by the Senate president at the time. And that's the extent that, you know, the power politics go there. And I think, you know, it took me a while to bounce back from that. I'm sure Crystal is a lot more resilient than I was. But it really is great experience to compete in a bigger race with a lot of sharp elbows. And, you know, and I congratulate her for her efforts. And in a jointed comment also made by Crystal, and that is, I remember Mayor Mike, he was a big supporter of ours and the ATC Center, and a good man out of Chicago. He kind of turned bad politically, in my humble opinion, but he was a good man and good-hearted, good policy-oriented fellow, and did a good job. And I agree with Crystal, he'll be missed. So thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you both on Mayor Mike. If you remember when I was asked to go to the Shopko Center to take a look to see what I thought about the building, well, there was a small committee, and Mayor Mike was one of the members of that committee. So he was with us from the very get-go before we even went any further with that ATC in Belvedere. Okay, I have a few things. So Sunday night, I'm sitting and watching the most watched series show on TV called Yellowstone. And the ad showed 60th anniversary of Rock Valley College. I mean, my eyeballs just fell off my head. I said, what a wonderful location for an ad like that. And so I did communicate with Jennifer, and she says, yes, we're going to do some more of those now that the election season is over. But I thought that was just spectacular placement. I mean, that show, as you know, is watched by millions. Anyway.
I didn't know until last week. I hadn't heard of it until last week, actually. So.
Well, even Kevin didn't know how it ended either.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's still alive.
He's still alive, yeah. I don't know if you all saw the article by Kevin Haas online about District 205 and their college and career education center, which they're going to start reworking the building, the old Stenstrom Center. But of course, the thought that crossed my mind is, I mean, they're going to offer courses like, culinary arts, CNC machining, and I'm wondering, will that, in the case of CNC machining and whatever else, things that we offer, will that detract from our ability to attract District 205 students? Will it supplement us? Do we need to change our CNC programming to allow for kids that have got some training rather than bringing in kids that have no training and teach them on CNC? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I just wondered about how we're going to interact, because I've seen the plan about a year ago, and they're going to be offering a lot of different vocational level courses. So how does that fit with us?
Yeah.
How will that fit with us?
Well, it'll definitely impact us, but that's no different than any time when we do our classes, we always have to consider what the high schools are teaching, the districts are teaching, and then we keep, for instance, there's a time when we had a lot of developmental education classes, right? And those students who were not prepared coming out of high school, they still came to us for that support. We reduced the amount of developmental education classes, but we still have co-requisite models and multiple measures. So we adapted. So when it comes to the CTE programs, we'll look at what they're teaching.
Yeah.
We'll see if it directly impacts our curriculum. Are they doing intro level, or are they doing the exact same?
Yeah.
And yes, we have to, for instance, students have to still, like any other class, a prerequisite. If you're eligible for English 101, or you take an AP test, or you do, and you show that you don't need it, you go into English 103, because you can take a test for that to prove it. We'll be able to adjust our curriculum accordingly.
Yeah. I think Paul had his hand first,
Sure.
then John.
And I don't mean to be harsh or cynical about it, but given the graduation rate, not RPS 205, we might go after those who aren't eligible to go through their CNC programs because they've already kind of left school, and then focus on GED and other programs to get them in through RVC. Because I know a number of students that, for various reasons, life circumstances and the like, left high school and then got their GED and came to Rock Valley and had only great things to say about Rock Valley. So even if you didn't change the curriculum or the course programming, there is a segment of the population that might not be able to take advantage because there's not still, they're not still enrolled within RPS 205, where we may be able to help them out, overcome that educational gap.
Students stop and go at all different points of this process, so the curriculum will still be relevant, and you're absolutely right. Remember, one of the areas that we really need to focus on is the adult education, the adult returning student population, the 40 or 50,000 that that's over 18 with no degree, or over 18 with some college or some training, but no completion, right? So we'll still have that availability.
John?
Well, Bob, I was thinking that the Belvedere high schools have, I've always thought, a pretty active CNC and other type mechanical classes. And and they are they have been classically the bulwark of some of our students in not just that area, but certainly in the technical area. And so we must be, we must be working with them, and I think we can work with, it might be more difficult to work with Rockford 205, but we certainly can work for them and provide advanced training which students can benefit from. We can't make them come.
Oh, yeah,
But
right,
I think we have a leg up on that, and I think you're right to ask the question.
Yeah, thank you. Any other comments? I do know that the article said that the students will come from the entire 205 district. It'll not be geographically monitored. They'll be from all over. So how they're going to get them there by bus, I don't know, but that's their problem. Anyway, I had one other. So the petition filing date is long past. Monday was the last day, and I am told that there are 5 candidates who have filed petitions, 3 current trustees whose term is up in April, and 2 from the community. So there's 5 running for 3 seats.
Have there been any challenges filed? When they be due?
To my knowledge, no, I don't
Today?
know.
Not yet.
Not yet. Ellen would probably know when they do, if there were any
Well, and
challenges.
when was the last day to file, yesterday or a week
Monday.
ago?
Monday was the last day to file.
Monday.
Okay, so 5 days.
Yeah, you got 5 days. Okay, and that's my comments. Student trustee report.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So some of you took my thunder, but it's okay. So we're going to do Trio Thanksgiving. That's located in the Student Center from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's just to get together and just have a good Thanksgiving for the family, before all the politics begin. But the RVC Fall Jazz Concert is going to be at the ERC Performing Arts Room at 7 p.m. I love jazz, so hopefully I can go. So, the International Student Showcase, Dr. Pyre kind of already informed us about the event, but it's just a very talented group of people. I heard some people were going to talk about Native American stories, and then some of their culture, and including other people. And then the fall final Frenzy Week, which is so exciting. Everyone loves the finals, but there will be a day of massages with I forgot what the organization was called off the top of my head. But
Therapy?
Yeah, I heard there was massage therapy. I can't remember who does that or provides that service.
It's massage therapy that's providing that on our massage therapy group typically provides that on campus.
Yes.
So that is the name of the group.
Okay. I knew that. But there'll be a variety of other events that week, and then the women's basketball game in the PIC gym at 5 p.m., and then the men's basketball game at 7 p.m. for the 12th, December 5th. So that kind of just concludes my report. Early Thanksgiving, everyone. So.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the foundation report, you heard the comments about the luncheon, the 5th annual luncheon. I know Brittany told me she was very pleased that we did have a good turnout from trustees. There were 297 that attended this event, and about half of them were students, recipients. And next year, they're going to be looking for a bigger place because it's going to grow some more. The other item is, and I can't say too much, but I know that she will be presenting to her board in December a fundraising goal to support Downtown West Campus. And once that's approved by their board, I will be able to share that with our board. So that's my report. Anything, any questions? If not, we'll move on to the FOIA.
If I may, again, I can't remember Bridget's last name, but I think, Bridget, who sponsored the dinner.
Bridget Coleman.
Coleman,
Bridget Coleman.
that's right. Bridget Coleman has been sponsoring the foundation luncheon.
Right.
I think this is the third one that I know of, and I don't know about any others, but I think publicly I'd like to thank her and say we truly appreciate her generosity. So, thank you.
Okay.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Any other points? If not, anything on the FOIA report? There is no closed session.
No closed session.
How about that? So,
Can we just talk for 5 more minutes? Because we would have talked for an hour and had business for 15 minutes. So,
well,
just 5 more minutes, Bob.
so the date of the next committee of the whole meeting is December 3rd, 5:15, right here in the PAR room. The date of the next regular board meeting, December 17th, right here, 5:15 in the PAR room. Reminder again, the Board of Trustees retreat, January 25th, 8 o'clock. The meeting will be held in the Woodward Technology Center, room 1308 on the main campus. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second. I guess Gloria got it.
Nelson and Kudia. Roll call.
Simpson,
Yes.
Soltow.
Yes.
Kudia,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Michaels,
Yes.
Gorski,
No.
Trojan.
Yes,
Waiting 4 minutes.
5 more minutes.
We're done.
we're done.
Right.
The motion carried, Mr. Chairman.
I didn't know anything about